Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine, and yourself?
I'm great. God bless you. Good morning, Mr. Alden. How are you this morning?
Good morning, ma'am. I'm very well. How are you?
I am great. Thank you very much for asking. Mr. Alden, it's Katina. And while we may not be seeing eye to eye on a particular topic, I think that we both have the same goal in mind, and that's the best interest of the people in this country. Now, Mr. Alden, the decision to release genetically modified mosquitoes into the environment is not a political decision. While I understand where you may have thought you were right in supporting that release, I want to personally express my objection to it, because the people of this country should be the ones who decide whether or not they are going to have genetically modified mosquitoes in their environment. Now, I'm going to speak for many people who have approached me in the supermarkets and in the parking lots, and who's called my phone, who's sent texts, and who's sent for me to come to their homes. And they're confused. They know that genetically modified mosquitoes are going to be released, but they have no idea what the outcome is going to be. They don't know what to expect. They're aware of the fact that they haven't been informed. They have many questions, and the real confusion that's coming up with this now is that they're now turning to Dwayne and myself for the answers, and sir, we don't have the answers. We're not supposed to have the answers. These answers, these questions were supposed to have been posed from a long time ago and answered procured. Even if those answers were, we don't know. We don't know what the outcome is going to be in 10 years. And we don't know what the outcome will be in 15. I'm really sorry. We don't know what's going to happen in 30 years. Those, sir, are the questions and the answers that need to be put and brought by the people. And this is not about Katina and Dwayne, and it's not about Alden and the governor and the deputy governor. It's about the people of the Cayman Islands, and they are misinformed. And personally speaking, I feel boxed in. I feel like I live in Cuba, where I don't have a right to voice my opinion, because in doing so, we've come under attack. We've come under attack from the government itself, and we've come under attack from the people, because they don't understand, and they think that because the government has presented it, it must be good. And that's a very false sense of security that they're wearing for a uniform.
Katina, what attack have you been under from the government? I'm confused, because I'm the Minister of Health in Premier. I am not aware of any such attack. In fact, the converse is true. Dwayne has actually hired some big-time lawyers and has filed an application for judicial review. He has gotten a stay, and at the moment, there are no mosquitoes being released. So where is the attack from the government? Okay,
well, sir, you see, when we first petitioned the government, because we asked for a suspension until we had the opportunity to participate in proper public consultation, the government said, no, I'm sorry that we're not going to do that. And then you aired the video for the consultation meeting that happened at the Westway at the Westway Town Hall. But the public consultation section was edited and removed, and so it only left the presentation and not the concerns. Now, sir, the fact
but
that...
I'm asking about the attack. You allege that you were under attack by the government. I'm trying to find out the nature of that attack, because I'm not aware of any attack being made on you or anybody else by the government.
When Dr. Petrie, when Dr. Petrie said with his negative campaign of our questioning of the procedure, accused me of being false and misleading, he attacked my character, sir. He defamed me, because what I did was I took the information that was available to me, something I should not have had to have done, because that public consultation process should have happened. I should have posed those questions and brought those concerns in a public forum, at a public town hall, having already been made aware of the meetings that were going to happen, scheduled meetings, so if I can't make the one in West Bay, at least I can make the one in East Bay. So I took the information that was available to me, and if I used the wrong resource, sir, I was forced to, because the right resource didn't provide me with the resources. And then the government, MRCU, i.e. Dr. Petrie, and you can turn that straight around if you want to, but he's a representative of my government, said that I had presented false and misleading reports. He attacked my character, sir. He assailed me. Okay? And there's been an onslaught of negative media campaign calling us all sorts of names that we're uninformed and so on. And you know what, sir? I own that title. I own the title of being uninformed, misinformed, and misinforming because government has left me with no other title to wear. You certainly can't say I've slandered anybody because I have not. No, Your Honor, I read this morning about the Oxitec survey of West Bay, and I need an answer to this. How is the company who is presenting the technology allowed to gather surveys in the community in which it is aiming to release in the first initial rollout by its own employees, not paid independent people from the community? They have 4 Caymanians in their employ, and they're using those 4 Caymanians as Arabian horses, sir. But they're putting a riding on top of them. They go out there in the public face and they're using them to reach us. Now I want you to tell me, sir, how Oxitec ended up conducting a survey in my community. I didn't even know it was going to happen. But I would have personally accompanied them to make sure that every home that they went to, that the people understood the questions that they were being asked and the purpose behind those. Now, you see, I'm going to put it out there, Mr. Alden. I believe that this survey wasn't particularly a survey, but it was another fine-spoken propaganda machinery, which Oxitec and MRCU, which is now fondly named as Oxigov, has a well-oiled piece of machinery. And the only thing I can say to that is this. I'm not blind, I'm not stupid, and I'm not dumb. That piece of consultation is an absolute insult to anybody in this country who has 2 bits of sense and who can see through it, whether they want to look at it through spiritual eyes or physical eyes. I am ashamed. I am absolutely ashamed at the way that this government is allowing Oxitec to manipulate the people of this country and beat on us with an issue and abuse us in an issue of which you have citizens in this country who are concerned and objective to this.
Katina, I've listened to you. What's missing from all of that you've said is any objectivity at all or any acknowledgement of the reality of the threat that the Cayman Islands and the rest of the world are under from this most dangerous vector called Aedes aegypti. We have Zika, we have dengue, we have chikungunya. These are major international health threats. This government is acting most responsibly. We have the attention of jurisdictions all around the world because we are actually doing something to control the vector. We know now we have 3 recorded cases of Zika that are imported. What do you think the impact of not controlling the Aedes aegypti, they're biting those people who have Zika and spreading Zika across Cayman, what the impact of that is going to have on the local population? What do you think the impact of that knowledge will have on our tourism industry and the travel of people here? I know that what is being done by Dwayne is purely political. He's been a political candidate before. He's no doubt intending to be a political candidate again, and he wants a platform from which to launch his campaign. But this is irresponsible to the highest extent. Anyhow, they've applied to the court. He's gotten a stay. The matter will be heard on Tuesday, and then we'll know whether or not the mosquitoes can be released. If the court rules that they can't, then we're in another sphere altogether. But I can tell you that as Premier and as Minister of Health, I cannot and will not sit by and have a major health threat go unaddressed, because that would be even more irresponsible than what Dwayne and yourself are conducting.
Program machine, like somebody wrote that speech and had you rehearse that for the last 6 weeks consecutively. Like you edit, you bred it, you slept it, you speak it.
Listen, can
Caller, do you want to be adversarial or do you want to get a point across?
Right. Make your point, but please don't be insulting, because I have not been insulting to you.
Right? But I can't get it across because he continues.
But you were speaking for just now.
Oh, no. About the Zika threat. I want you to show me the evidence that says addressing the Aedes aegypti mosquito eliminate Zika. The fact is Zika is a sexually transmitted disease as well. It's also highly contaminable even through saliva. So what you need to embark on is a proper public consultation process through which you can present Zika, its causes, and any potential to address it, including the Wolbachia bacteria.
Caller, I'm going to ask you to leave us there at this stage. We have other callers lined up. We're going to go to the phone lines. Next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma'am.
Having me
Welcome
again.
back.
On the Zika virus situation, I won't belabor this, but I will say this much. I was at the Cayman Islands Hospital just a few weeks ago. I had an appointment as I was waiting around, just a short distance from a young lady who was handing out some papers. I noticed that, she said a few words, people signed. In other cases, people just sort of waved their hands and said, have no time or whatever, and they didn't sign. And when it came that I was passing her and she said to me what it was about. It was about the effort to curtail the, dispensing the millions of mosquitoes and so on and so forth. And I said to her, well, quite frankly, it's not something that I'm going to sign. You have a whole sheet of paper there with a lot of, I don't know what's in it, but I said, I also noticed that a lot of people are signing without reading it. I normally don't sign things that I don't read, and certainly I won't be signing that today. But in any case, I want you to know that I'm not against the effort of the MRCU and the Public Health Department on the island to do something about the threat of the Aedes aegypti mosquito. So I just kindly told her I hope she had a good day, and I left. What I observed while I was there is that so many people were asked to sign this, even though I could not tell you what the short conversation was between the young lady and those who were passing by. But obviously, many of them may have said, I can't sign it unless I read it, or they simply said, I'm not with you on this. So all I'm saying here, when we speak about the numbers who have signed on, based on that experience that I had while I was up there at that particular time, I am wondering how many of those who have signed on are fully aware of what they were signing on to. The young lady, I respect her for, she has something that she wants to get across to the Caymanian public. I have no problem with that. I'm only saying when it comes to being in the dark about something, I'm not sure that the government has not given advance notice, and we've heard them on Radio Cayman a number of times, Dr. Pedley and others, Petrie and others.
Yeah, Dr. Petrie.
And what I'm saying is that they've tried to educate the public, and with many questions coming into the talk shows, they have tried to answer. These people live in Cayman, work here, have families here. I'm not sure that they would be embarking on something which is that risky. But I'll tell you what, if Cayman Islands can do something about it, I think we better. And those who are trying to fight against this had better think of what the consequences might be if we don't move in this direction. Because if we can destroy the numbers, the chances are far less great as to the way that this disease can be spread. So I thank you for your time. Mr. Premier, good morning to you, sir. Good morning to OC again. I hope you all have a very good day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, caller, and the same to you as well.
If you don't mind, I'd really like to address this issue.
Okay. Go.
How many callers we have waiting? Because I don't want to keep waiting.
No, we're going to just, we missed one of our breaks, but we'll make up for it.
Okay. Because this is a major issue. As I said, and clearly the opposition to the GM Mosquitoes being released is very well funded. They've got a top law firm that is managing this thing. They've applied for on last Wednesday evening and obtained a stay so that the mosquitoes, which were scheduled to have been released on Thursday of last week, were not released and have been destroyed. And the hearing is tomorrow. So I don't want to prejudge the hearing, and I really wasn't going to raise the issue at all. But now that it's been raised, I think I need to say a few things about what was done by government and about the nature of this exercise to try to address some of the misleading things that were said by Katina. There was a pilot program in 2010 in which, I don't remember the number, but a significant number of GM, genetically modified mosquitoes, were released in East End, the same Aedes aegypti. They, of course, had done a survey of the area and determined, as they do by the trapping system, they can estimate what the population is of Aedes of a particular type of mosquito in an area. The results of that exercise demonstrated that they had reduced, as a result of this exercise, they reduced the number of Aedes aegypti mosquito in the area by 93%. By 93%. I don't know, none of us have heard anyone complain about any adverse consequence as a result of that. Let's talk a little bit about what has been genetically modified with these mosquitoes. These eggs have been injected with genetically modified material, so that the genes, there are two different genes. One is a life-shortening gene, which that's a principal one, so that the mosquito, the male mosquito, and these are all the ones that are released are all male mosquitoes. Male mosquitoes do not bite humans because they don't feed on blood; they feed on fruit juices. So you'll see them sometime around a mango on the ground or a plum or whatever the case may be. It is only the female mosquito that bites. So when the larvae hatches, they go through a sex sorting exercise, so that the only ones that are released or that are planned for release into the public are the male mosquito. Mm-hmm. The objective is that this male mosquito with this life-shortening gene will mate with the wild females. The females only mate once. Their lifespan is about 7 to 9 days. And once they've done their job, they die. Mm-hmm. And the mosquitoes which hatch, or the pupae, the larvae which hatch, does not survive into maturity to be able to take the next generation forward. That's the way this works. So the chances of this in any way impacting humans is beyond me. I mean, I'm no scientist, but you're dealing with a mosquito that does not bite humans in the first place, and the progeny of the female who has mated with that male dies before it reaches maturity. So, besides this research and this work is supported by the WHO and a whole range of other international agencies. What Katina may not be old enough to remember really is where Cayman has come from in terms of mosquito control, and what occurred here with the startup of MRCU in the 60s. I'm keenly aware of it because my father was very much involved in it as public health officer at the time. But the genius of Dr. Marco Giglioli, and who came in as an entomologist, is really what has made Cayman, the Cayman that we know now, possible. For without us having gotten a firm control on mosquitoes, the development of our financial services industry, tourism, none of that would be possible. I mean, I grew up in a time, and you're older than me, so you know it even better, when we used to still walk about with smoke pots during the rainy season in broad day. If you went up in the bush, which I spent a lot of time in, as a young man, you had to make up fire before you could do any work because mosquitoes would kill you. In the real rainy season, the bad mosquito season, mosquitoes were known to suffocate cattle. That's how bad things here were. And because of our work over the course of the last 50 years or so in Cayman, and the expertise that Cayman has developed and the success that our programs have had, the MRCU is internationally regarded as a really excellent research and development and control unit with respect to entomology, but specifically with respect to mosquito control. So that is why you see organizations like Oxitec wanting to partner with MRCU with these programs because of the level of expertise that we have here. On Wednesday, I had the privilege of taking the Jamaican Minister for Health, Minister Tufton, on a tour of MRCU. He was here, among other things, to look at Health City, but among other things, to look at what we are doing to seek to control this very dangerous vector, because it's not just Zika, it is dengue, it is chikungunya that the Aedes aegypti is spreading. Mm-hmm. I mean, he said to me, and I was shocked, that 70 people had died of chikungunya in Jamaica, and that they had at present 178 suspected cases of pregnant women who had been exposed, they believe had been exposed to the Zika virus. They were still going through the testing. He was keenly interested in what we were doing here, because this is the sort of thing that they would want to be able to employ there to help control the Aedes aegypti mosquito. And for many people who don't appreciate this, the great difficulty, we had eradicated Aedes aegypti in Cayman for many years, mm-hmm. but it got re-imported. And in the aftermath of Hurricane Ivan, because there were just so many of the habitats that they like around, it really got, the numbers really got, started to climb significantly. The Aedes aegypti mosquito lives and prefers to live around human habitation. They like to lay their eggs in clean, still water. So if you got an old tire or a bird bath or some little container or whatever it is in your yard, that is where they are likely to lay. And they like to, because they want to ensure or improve their chances of survival of their larvae, they lay in more than one place. They don't deposit all of the eggs in one area. And the Aedes aegypti mosquito is not the mosquito that bites you at night, because they don't bite after dusk. So those the mosquitoes that are troubling you around during the day, they may be, not necessarily they are, but they may be Aedes aegypti. But the ones that bite you at night, that's not Aedes aegypti.
Okay.
And of course, because it is a daylight mosquito, it is even more difficult to control in the usual way, because you can't spray for it in the same way because of the heat and what the heat does to the pesticide that they use. The heat causes it to rise rather than fall. And so you have to look, and it is increasingly difficult, not just in Cayman, but the world over, to find effective pesticides to deal with the Aedes aegypti. And of course, there's a much greater risk, in my view, of pesticides harming humans in our environment than the use of genetically modified mosquitoes, which are about reducing, by the mating process, reducing the numbers of the next generation of mosquito. So I've said all of that, really, and that wasn't what I came on the show to do this morning. But one deals with the things as they arise,
Yep.
to try to help inform people about what this is, and that the government is not about exposing our people to risk. All of us live here, me, Minister of Health and Premier too, and my wife and my children and my family. So please believe that we are satisfied with the results and the research that has been done, that this is an entirely safe exercise. And we also have to bear in mind the huge risks of dengue, chikungunya, and Zika, not just to the local population, but to our reputation as a jurisdiction which relies so heavily on tourism and the general immigration of people from all over the world. We see already what's happened in Brazil, even with the Olympic Games,
yes,
because of people's concern about traveling to a jurisdiction where Zika is prevalent.